You ever notice how dishonest people always think everyone's lying? The cheater who constantly accuses their partner? The insecure boss who calls everyone incompetent? That's not random. That's projection. And you do it too, whether you realize it or not. Projection is a psychological defense mechanism. Your mind takes something you can't accept about yourself, a thought, a feeling, a behavior, and unconsciously dumps it onto someone else. You don't do it on purpose. Nobody wakes up thinking, I'm going to project my insecurities onto my coworkers today. It happens beneath your awareness, but that doesn't make it harmless. Projection damages relationships. It blocks personal growth. It keeps you stuck in cycles you don't even recognize you're in. And here's what most people miss. If you don't understand projection, you're probably doing it right now. So why do we project? Simple. Because facing the truth about yourself is uncomfortable. Your mind would rather point the finger outward than look in the mirror. Think about it. When was the last time you got defensive about something and later realized, yeah, they were right? That gap between the defensiveness and the realization, that's where projection lives. Some people are more prone to it than others. If you've experienced trauma, your mind builds walls to protect you. Projection becomes one of those walls. Same goes for people with narcissistic traits. They cannot tolerate seeing their own flaws, so those flaws have to belong to someone else. But here's what matters. Projection isn't a life sentence. You can learn to catch it, but first, you have to understand the different ways it shows up. There are three main types. First, neurotic projection. This is the classic version. You take something negative about yourself and attribute it to others. The dishonest person who thinks everyone's deceitful. The gossip who's convinced everyone's talking about them. Second, complementary projection. Beliefs. This is when you assume everyone shares your opinions. You think something's obvious, so everyone else must think so too. You hold a political view, and suddenly half the country must be faking theirs. Third, complementary projection. Abilities. You assume others have the same skills you do. You're good with numbers, so why is everyone else struggling? You're a natural public speaker. What's their problem? Notice the pattern. Every type of projection has one thing in common. It's easier to reshape the world in your mind than to reshape yourself. Let me give you some real examples, because theory is useless if you can't spot it in your own life. You accuse your partner of being distant, but you're the one pulling away. You call a coworker lazy, but you've been cutting corners for weeks. You get furious at someone for being judgmental while you're judging them. You criticize a friend's spending habits because deep down, you feel out of control with your own money. Here's the tell. When someone is projecting onto you, the signs are usually clear. They get defensive fast. They invalidate your feelings. You're overreacting. That never happened. They make accusations that seem to come out of nowhere, and they absolutely refuse to take responsibility. Sound familiar? You've probably been on both sides of this, and if you're honest with yourself, you can probably think of a moment right now where you were the one projecting. So what do you do when someone is projecting onto you? First, don't match their energy. Projection feeds on defensiveness. If they're hurling accusations and you fire back, now you're both projecting. That's not a conversation. That's a war. Instead, ask clarifying questions. Can you help me understand what makes you feel that way? You're not agreeing with them. You're forcing them to examine their own claim. Most people can't back up a projection with evidence because there isn't any. Acknowledge their feelings without accepting their accusation. I can see this is upsetting you is different from, you're right, I am being distant. And sometimes, just pause the conversation. Say, I need to step back from this right now. Not to punish them, but because projection doesn't get solved in the heat of the moment. It needs reflection. It needs space. Quick distinction, because people confuse these two constantly. Projection is unconscious. The person doesn't know they're doing it. Gaslighting is intentional. It's a manipulation strategy designed to make you question your own reality. One is a defense mechanism. The other is abuse. If someone is projecting, they may be open to seeing it, eventually. If someone is gaslighting you, They know exactly what they're doing and they want you confused. Now the hard part. What if you're the one projecting? First, get open to feedback. If 3 people tell you you're being defensive and you think all 3 of them are wrong, you're probably the one who's wrong. Second, pause before you react. Projection moves fast. It's a reflex. Put space between the feeling and the response. When someone says something that triggers you, ask yourself, am I upset because of what they said or because of what it reveals about me? Third, communicate honestly. Instead of you're being so controlling, try I feel out of control right now. See the difference? One points at them, one owns your experience. Fourth, and this is the hardest one, examine your strongest judgments of others. The qualities you despise in other people, the flaws that make you absolutely furious, there's a good chance those are the exact qualities you can't accept in yourself. Carl Jung said it best. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Projection is your mind's way of protecting itself. But protection that blinds you isn't protection. It's a prison. You can't fix what you won't face. And every time you point a finger at someone else, 3 fingers point back at you. So here's the question I want you to sit with. What are you accusing others of right now that's actually true about you?